as requested by Puppy Lover 69. Tell me a story about the sentient anus who got separated from the butt and had to find a way to become reunited again, or any other story. Okay. Where to begin? Well, once upon a time, there was an anus. It was quite happy in its home between the cracks of the butt of its owner. It had a strange job to play, but it was a proud job. It was an important job. He allowed life to continue. But one day, his owner became very constipated. A huge poo was just there and really big and stuck. So the anus's owner and he and the anus popped out with the poop. The owner didn't notice, so when he turned around and flushed, the anus went down the drain with the poo. The owner went off, and the anus traveled down the pipes. It was a rush. It was like a roller coaster going up and down and up and down and to the side and to the other side, all which way flowing with the water. And suddenly, it shot out into the sewer. It was dark, and it was moist. It was warm. It was a very gross place to be, even for an anus. Luckily, being sentient, the anus was able to form itself some primitive arms and primitive legs to be able to move itself through the sewers. It kept to the sides of the sewers to make sure that it didn't get washed away. It was very careful, listening for any signs of danger. And that's when he heard it. Squeak, squeak! Squeak, squeak! It was a rat. A very dangerous thing for an anus. Squeak, squeak! It was getting closer. Squeak, squeak! Closer. Squeak! It was right beside him. And so he ran. He ran as fast as his little anus legs could carry him. The mouse chased, and it was fast. It was much faster than him. It was no time at all before he felt a little nip on his backside. He ran faster, and again, a little nip on his backside. Suddenly, the rat lightly bit him and tossed him onto its back. Apparently, it wasn't going to eat him. Not right away, at least. He clung on to the rat as best he could as the rat ran through the sewers. Eventually, he saw a light from up above. It must be the surface, he thought to himself. Maybe I can get out. So he waited. The light got closer and closer overhead. And then he saw the ladder, and he realized there was no getting away from this. The ladder was far too large. Every post in the ladder was far too far apart for little anus to get up. he had to resign himself to his situation. But then, the manhole cover came off. The rat, startled, stopped suddenly, throwing the anus off of it. The anus flopped along the floor towards the ladder. And he stopped right below it. A man came down. He was a worker from outside. Apparently he had some work to do in the sewers. And that, the anus found, was his chance. After the worker had done everything that he needed to do, the anus stealthily snuck around his ankle in such a way that he was only touching his shoe and wouldn't notice that the anus was lurking there. The man climbed up the ladder, the anus in tow, and eventually reached the surface. The anus looked around and was quite glad to recognize the area. His owner, before, had gone streaking in the area, so he had gotten a bit of a view, and luckily he knew exactly where his home would be. The cars rushed by on the highway. The anus stayed close to the worker as he crossed over to the sidewalk, and then let go. Now on the sidewalk, dodging feet, stomping down everywhere, the anus quickly looked for his chance to cross the street. After some time, he noticed that the cars started stopping, so he ran as fast as his little anus feet could take him across the street to where he knew that his owner's apartment was. He ran, and he ran, and he jumped up the stairs of the apartment as best he could, and waited. It was an hour before anyone would open the door, but as soon as they did, he rushed inside, found his way to his owner's apartment, and waited again outside his door. 3 hours later, his owner opened the door and noticed his anus sitting by it. He gently picked it up, went back inside, and put it back to where it was supposed to be. And they all lived happily ever after. The end.